Hola a todos, buenas noches. Hoy es martes 9 de abril de 2024. Son las 7 de la noche en Colombia. Yo soy Mike y les doy la bienvenida a el día 9 de nuestro curso básico de español, Charlemos Pues, un curso básico enfocado en conversaciones básicas en español. Hi everybody, good evening. Today is Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. It's 7 p.m. in Colombia. I'm Mike, and I bid you welcome to day 9 in our basic Spanish course, Charlemos Pues, Let's Talk, basic Spanish course focused on conversational Spanish. We've been working for 9 days so far. Last week I wasn't able to go online. I'm sorry for that. I do apologize for not being here last class, but we had some technical issues. But now we are here, and hopefully we're going to be able to have a decent class tonight actually. I want to thank each and every one of you, the ones who are live tonight with us. Thank you for being here tonight. Also, all of those who are watching this video later, because this video is part of playlist, which is Charlemos Pues, the basic Spanish conversational course for 2024. And also special thanks to our members, the members of the channel. We do have a membership program, so thank you very much for supporting the channel. We really appreciate that. So tonight we're going to practice conversational Spanish, and we're going to use all the tools that we've been learning for the past 8 classes. We are basically going to practice sentence building, which is speaking, but there's something that we're going to keep in mind tonight. We are going to, well, if you would like the video, remember, you know what to do. Please share with your friends, group, social media, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, click the bell button in order to get notifications, and that's going to, with that you're going to be able to participate on the chat during the live classes. Importance of that is, if you have questions, of course you can just go there and ask. Oh, my back is killing me today. And ask the questions you need to ask. So what are we going to do tonight is we're going to practice sentence building. As I told you before, we have been studying the basics, the foundations for building sentences in Spanish. It's subject, verb, object structure. We have learned how to build affirmative, interrogative, and negative sentences in Spanish. A basic structure. We are going to need vocabulary, of course. I hope you've been practicing for the past couple weeks. Hopefully, because that's going to help you working here. And what's the deal tonight? What we're going to do is I'm going to give you a basic affirmative sentence in English, simple present tense, and you're going to translate that to Spanish. Then you're going to, or we are going to build the negative sentence for that affirmative sentence. And then you're going to build the interrogative sentence for that sentence. The idea is, well, the ideal thing would be to do that without writing the sentence. But if you right now don't feel comfortable or don't feel confident enough to just go and build the sentence speaking, then you can just grab a notebook, a piece of paper, and write it down before trying to say the sentence. But it would be better if you try and say the sentence out loud without writing it down. That would be the ideal thing, right? So I'm gonna go with sentences, basic sentences, and the first sentence that we have is I work in this office. I work in this office. I work in this office. So you're going to go and say that in Spanish. Remember, if you don't feel confident enough, you can just write it down in Spanish. And remember, first we're going to use the subject or the pronoun. We're not going to drop or skip the pronouns here for educational purposes, for practicing purposes. We're not going to do that. So you already have that, right? I work in this office. I work in this office would be yo trabajo en esta oficina. That would be the sentence. And that would be this thing. Yo trabajo en esa. I work. That would be in esta. In this office. In this. I work in this office. Yo trabajo en esta oficina. I work in this office. Yo trabajo en esta oficina. Now, there's something that I'm going to make a video about this later this week, hopefully, in which I'm going to go with the speed and the rhythm of Spanish. You know that every language has a rhythm, has a speed, a pace, right? So here in Spanish, what we usually do is we connect the pronoun with a verb. And we usually connect the articles and adjectives with the nouns. In this case, I can say yo trabajo en esta oficina, but ideally it would be yo trabajo en esta oficina. En esta oficina. Yo trabajo en esta oficina. That would be like the rhythm of the sentence here. Now, yo trabajo en esta oficina is the affirmative sentence. How about the negative sentence? I don't work in this office. I don't work in this office. You know already what to do. In Spanish, it's so easy. And I hope you already did. I hope you already did. And build the negative sentence. This in the negative form would be yo no trabajo en esta oficina. Same thing. Yo no trabajo en esta oficina. And we have affirmative and negative for this. How about the interrogative sentence for this? Do I work in this office? Do I work in this office? Do I work in this office? Here, we're going to do something interesting. Very interesting. And is that whenever we are using yo or I, if I were to go and build the interrogative sentence, right, I would have to say trabajo yo en esta oficina, right? That would be like the official way of saying this in the interrogative form in Spanish, right? Or yo trabajo en esta oficina. I would do this just by the same. Remember, we can use the same affirmative sentence in Spanish with the difference in the intonation. So instead of saying yo trabajo en esta oficina, I can say yo trabajo en esta oficina, like asking that, and it's a valid form of a question. Remember that. So the interesting thing is that for very, very natural Spanish, I can do this for the interrogative sentences without yo. And it perfectly works. It perfectly works. Trabajo en esta oficina. Trabajo en esta oficina. And if you can see, it doesn't matter where was the pronoun. If I remove the pronoun, it's basically the same one or another, and the sentence would be trabajo en esta oficina. And that's a perfect way for asking that. And that is the way that we are going to work with the remaining sentences that we have for tonight. So what we're going to do is that we're going to do exactly the same. The next sentence that we have here for this tonight, for our practice, is, let me go there. You study in the university, or you study at the university. You study at the university. You study at the university. Now, remember, important thing. In Spanish, we have 5 different ways for translating you. So in this case, we're going to let's agree that for this sentence, you study at the university. I mean you singular. I'm talking to you, one person, right? So that narrows our translation to 3 possible words. Tú, which would be singular, close relationship, very informal. Usted, which would be singular, formal. Or vos, that can be used a lot, which would be singular, a midterm between formal and informal, pretty much informal, right? We have talked about this. If you haven't watched the video about the pronoun you in Spanish, please watch it, because I have a lot of very useful information on how to understand this pronoun in Spanish. So you study at the university. You study at the university. That's the word, that's the sentence that we're going to translate based on singular you, right? So we have 3 different ways of saying this. And right now we're going to go with tú for this one. Tú, singular, close relationships, very informal. Tú. So what's the sentence in Spanish? You study at the university. Tú estudias en la universidad. Tú estudias en la universidad. That would be the sentence. Tú estudias en la universidad. And the sentence would be this one. Tú estudias en la universidad. Now, the negative form for this. Very easy, right? I hope you already did it. And it is tú no estudias en la universidad. Tú no estudias en la universidad. Very, very easy. And how about the the interrogative form for this? Do you study at the university? Remember, we can do that in different ways. The legal way, estudias tú en la universidad. This is practicing. We need to practice a lot. Please do so in order to get a hold on this, or get a grasp, get an understanding. To improve your skills, practice this as much as you can. The other way would be tú estudias en la universidad, right? And the other way would be estudias en la universidad. That would be also acceptable. And we have practiced with 2 different sentences using one, yo, and the other one, tú, for you. But remember, we have different ways for translating you. Now, let's move to the next sentence. And that would be, you run in the park in the mornings. You run in the park, let's say every morning. Every morning. You run in the park every morning. You run in the park every morning. Have you already translated the sentence? Hope you did. You run in the park every morning. Now, for this one, let's agree that we're going to use singular form and that we're going to use usted. Why we're doing this? Because you need to practice the verb conjugation for this. And also, I do have several videos in which I go full in depth with the rules for conjugating verbs in different tenses, regular verbs. So this is something very important that you must do. You must study a lot. You run in the park every morning using usted. So the sentence would be, The sentence would be, usted corre en el parque todas las mañanas. You run in the park every morning. And we have this. Usted, you, corre, run en el parque, in the park, every morning, todas las mañanas. You run in the park every morning. Very easy. How do we go with the negative form? Very easy. I hope you did already. And it is usted no corre en el parque todas las mañanas. Very easy. How about the interrogative form? Questions. How about? ¿Corre usted en el parque todas las mañanas? Which could be also, usted corre en el parque todas las mañanas. And if I'm talking to you, I can say, corre en el parque todas las mañanas. The tricky thing is when I drop usted, this has to be in context because I can, corre also works for él, ella. It also works for that. So be careful. But you can do that nonetheless. And you can do that in context when speaking to another person. You can do that. So how are we doing? How are we doing so far with this? Hopefully you're going to get a grasp on this. Now let's go with the next sentence. We're going to go again with you, but this time we're going to use vos, which is also used, right? We need to practice that, please. So the sentence is, you study a lot for your tests or for your exams. You study a lot for your exams. You study a lot for your tests. You study a lot. You study a lot. With vos. And remember, for vos, the conjugation, we have worked that too. We have studied that also. So the sentence would be, vos estudias mucho para tus exámenes. Vos estudias. Tú estudias. Usted estudia. Vos estudias. Be careful. We have to practice. Now, this is for practicing purposes. You can choose one and go with that. Don't worry about that. You can even choose the most informal one, and it doesn't matter. You can get away with that because you're a non-native speaker. That nothing is gonna happen. Nobody's gonna get mad because of that. So so go ahead and choose one, but make sure you're gonna study all of the forms because you need to get used to whatever they are saying to you. In this case, vos estudias mucho para tus exámenes. The negative form, very easy. I hope you already did it. And it is, yes, vos no estudias mucho para tus exámenes. And the interrogative way, the interrogative form, sentence, I'm asking, ¿estudias vos mucho para los exámenes? This sentence can be also, ¿estudias mucho? You see, this is what I'm saying there, but I'm going to change this for it. Okay. Vos estudias mucho para los exámenes. And of course, estudias mucho para los exámenes. If you ask me, I never use this one. Never. It works, but it sounds a little weird. I most likely go this one or this one. This one, I wouldn't use that. So far, we have covered the three basic forms for you in a singular. Mel, usted estudia mucho, mucho, mucho. Usted estudia mucho. Thanks for being here. Thank you very much. Mel Boswell, greetings. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. Usted estudia mucho, mucho. The word is mucho. Now, let's go with the next sentence. He, with he, next pronoun, he. He cooks very well. He cooks very well. He cooks very well. In Spanish, he cooks very well. How would it go? He cooks very well in Spanish. He cooks very well. Anyone? Sorry. My throat is killing me. My throat and my back is killing me. I'm getting old. I'm too old for this. I'm not too old. I'm just 54. Anyhow. Sometimes. Okay, so he cooks very well. And it goes like él cocina muy bien. And remember, we go él cocina muy bien. Él cocina muy bien. Connected speech. Él cocina muy bien. Él cocina muy bien. Now, if we're going to go with the negative form, yes, very easy. Very easy. Él no cocina muy bien. Él no cocina muy bien. I don't want to get you here entangled with stuff. I was going to tell you, but no. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes you can say, él cocina no muy bien. Freaking Spanish is very, very, very complicated. Just the way we are as a culture. So that's the way it is. Now, interrogative way, the interrogative structure. How would it go? Cocina él muy bien. It works perfectly. The next form would be él cocina bien. Perfectly. And cocina bien, which works too. Cocina bien. Bueno, cocina muy bien. Sorry. Muy bien. Cocina muy bien. Cocina muy bien. Any of those works. Work. Any. All of those work. How are you doing with this? Hopefully, you're doing great. Now let's go with the next sentence. We go with she. With she. The sentence is she works in a restaurant. 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 You have the sentence yet? Have you already translated that? Hopefully you have. And the sentence for she works in a restaurant is ella trabaja en un restaurante. Remember, ella trabaja en un restaurante. 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 Now, how about the negative form, and which is the easiest one? Very easy. Yes, ella no trabaja en un restaurante. Let's go with the 3 ways of asking this. ¿Trabaja ella en un restaurante? ¿Trabaja ella en un restaurante? Ella trabaja en un restaurante. Which works. Trabaja en un restaurante. All 3 ways work. How are you doing? Hopefully you are doing this the right way. And this is something that you need to practice a lot. We are going very slow tonight with very easy sentences. Then you can do that in a very different, at a different speed, right? So now we go with we, a sentence with we. And the sentence in Spanish would be We live in a big house. 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 Have you already translated the sentence? We live in a big house and we have. Nosotros vivimos en una casa grande. 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 How about the negative form, which is the easiest one? Nosotros no vivimos en una casa grande. And let's go with the questions. ¿Vivimos nosotros en una casa grande? Nosotros vivimos en una casa grande. And yes, vivimos en una casa grande. And we have, what happened here? Grande. Vivimos en una casa grande. We have already for nosotros. And how about you for the plural? You for the plural. Remember, you can be singular and plural. For the plural, we have two ways of translating this you. One is ustedes, which is pretty much Latin American Spanish. And the other one would be vosotros, which would be Spanish from Spain. Latin American Spanish, Spanish from Spain. I live in Colombia. I am from Colombia. I was born in Colombia. My Spanish is Latin American Spanish. And that's what I mostly try to teach. But depending on your needs, on your goals, you need to choose whether you're going to go with Spanish from Spain or Spanish from Latin America. You can learn either. It doesn't matter. The thing is that if I learn Spanish from Spain and I come to Colombia and live in Colombia, it's gonna be weird. You can adapt easily and start changing things, but same thing if you learn Spanish from Colombia and go there, immediately you're going to sound different. And let's say for instance, I have a brother who lived several years in Spain. I would say like maybe 16 years in Spain. Funny thing is that he got the Spanish accent because we human beings do that in order to adapt. We adopt a lot of things. One of them being the accent. So now when he speaks in Spanish, he mostly speaks like a guy from Spain. That's funny. And there's a thing that is going to be even funnier for you. Whenever he watches the movies using these platforms, he always chooses the Spanish from Spain dubbing, the language. He always chooses Spanish from Spain. I was like, really? Okay. If it works for him, it works. Now, for you in this case, for this sentence that comes right now, we're going to use plural, Latin American plural, ustedes. So think about ustedes for this sentence, and it's you speak Spanish. You speak Spanish. Ustedes. You speak Spanish. You speak Spanish, and the sentence would be you speak Spanish, right? Ustedes hablan español. Ustedes hablan español. Very easy. Negative, even easier. Ustedes no hablan español. Very easy. And the interrogative forms. ¿Hablan ustedes español? ¿Ustedes hablan español? ¿Hablan español? Very good, right? hope you did that correctly. If not, don't worry. Making mistakes is a very important part of the learning process. As long as we have feedback or somebody who's going to be able to make corrections on the go. Now, the next sentence. The next sentence is going to be also with you for the plural, but this time for the plural for the Spain, the plural from Spanish from Spain. In this case, vosotros. And the sentence in English is, you are good employees. You are good employees. You are good employees. You are good employees. Now, if we're going to translate that to Spanish, using vosotros, you are good employees. Vosotros. This is a tricky one. How do you feel about that? And the sentence is, vosotros sois buenos empleados. That's a tricky one. Vosotros sois buenos empleados. The negative would be very easy. Vosotros no sois buenos empleados. And if we go with, with the interrogative forms, sois vosotros buenos empleados. Vosotros sois buenos empleados. Sois buenos empleados. And we have, empleados. Sorry. And we have completed this. How are you doing? How are you doing with this? We're almost done. Next one would be for they. Pronoun they. But remember, we have both male and female. So we can use, the structure is not going to change at all. The conjugation is not going to change at all. But we're going to, for practicing purposes, we're going to use to translate. One for them male and one for them female. And remember, they male in Spanish is ellos, and female would be ellas. Ellos, ellas, ellos, ellas. So the next sentence is, they play football on weekends. They play football on weekends. They meaning ellos, right? They play football on weekends. How's the sentence? What would be the translation? So let's go with the translation, and it is, ellos juegan fútbol los fines de semana. They play football on weekends. Ellos juegan fútbol los fines de semana. A negative way, ellos no juegan fútbol los fines de semana. That's the easiest one. And for the interrogative way, juegan ellos fútbol los fines de semana. Ellos juegan fútbol los fines de semana. Juegan fútbol los fines de semana. And that's it. And last but no least, we're going to go with they as ellas, which would be female for they. For they. And the sentence that we have for ellas, for practicing with ellas, is, they travel to Europe every year. 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 You have the translation. It is, ellas viajan a Europa cada año. Ellas viajan a Europa cada año. Ellas viajan a Europa cada año. Negative. Ellas no viajan a Europa cada año. Very easy. And the interrogative way, viajan ellas a Europa cada año. Ellas viajan a Europa cada año. Viajan a Europa cada año. And that's it. We have practiced building sentences in Spanish. This is day 9 tonight. Day 9. Building sentences in Spanish using all of the pronouns in Spanish, the different forms for you, including, and different verbs using the simple present tense, the structure, subject, verb, object, and in the affirmative, the negative, and the interrogative way, the 3 different ways we can ask a question in Spanish. So that's it for tonight. What's the big deal for you? What's your mission should you choose to accept it? What's gonna be your homework? Your homework is, we're wrapping up. If you have questions, we have like a 5-6 second delay. Anyhow, you have questions, make sure you ask your questions there. And what's your homework? Your homework is you're going to do exactly the same as we did tonight. We spent 36 minutes building sentences with all of the pronouns. Yo, tú, él, ella, nosotros, ustedes, ellos. Usted y vos, y vosotros. All of those pronouns. Using different verbs. So what you're going to do is you're going to start building basic sentences and changing that to a negative form and the 3 different interrogative ways that we can ask. Please do that. The more you practice them, the better you get. Your skills are going to improve a lot. This is something that you have to do every day, that you must do every day. Now you say, oh no, I don't know. How can I think about basic sentences? Easily. 2 different ways to do that very easily. The first one is ask Google. 20 basic sentences in the simple present tense in English for you to translate. That's one. And the other one is easy too. I do have a video in which I show and I teach how to use ChatGPT for studying Spanish. Use ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT. Hey, could you please give me 20 sentences in English? Basic sentences, simple present tense, affirmative sentences. You can also ask ChatGPT to check your sentence. Once you write the sentence in Spanish, you can ask, could you check if this sentence is correct? Please tell me what are my mistakes. Well, you can I don't know, I ask. This is something funny because whenever I go and use ChatGPT, I go in and it's like I'm asking somebody and I say, could you please? I know it's AI, but anyhow. So that's something you can do. It's something you can do and you have to do. You must do. You need to use your resources. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of your resources, and those are free resources that you can use. But you need to do that. You need to start working on your output. And remember, the very easiest way to start working on your output is by writing. But when you're feeling kind of comfortable writing, please jump directly to speaking. You need to work your output. Your output is very important. The more you do that, the better you get. Your skills improve a lot. And remember, the more you practice, the more vocabulary you're going to learn. And the more vocabulary you're going to learn, you just need to fill the gaps and the blanks with the structures. And you in no time, you're communicating in Spanish, which is the goal, right? That's the goal we have. And hopefully we're going to achieve that goal. So I see there are no questions. Hopefully that means that you have understood. Hopefully. Once again, thanks for being here tonight with us. Thank you, Mel Boswell, for participating on the chat. A special thanks to all of the members of the channel. I really appreciate your support. Remember that if you like this video, please, you know what to do. Share with your friends, group, social media. That helps us a lot. That helps a lot. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Click the bell button in order to get notifications. And also, you're going to be able to be part of the chat during the live classes. That's very important. Take advantage of that. So I really enjoy this. I really enjoy this a lot. I love sharing the things that I know. I love teaching. Although I'm not a certified professional teacher, I love doing this. I love sharing my knowledge and helping others to thrive and grow with the things that I can share and that I know. So and this is an awesome way for me to keep on practicing my English skills, because I need to speak a lot. I need to work on my output. So, and this is something that I do not write and read. It's something that I need to work like this. So hopefully you're gonna be able to do that in the near future with Spanish. Looking forward to that. And having said that, I think it's time to say goodbye. Gracias por estar aquí. Un abrazo para todos. Muchísimas gracias por habernos acompañado. De verdad aprecio mucho esto. Espero que me estén entendiendo todo lo que les estoy diciendo ahora. Estudien mucho, enfóquense mucho, practiquen mucho la conversación, practiquen mucho la producción oral. Ya tienen herramientas, son herramientas fáciles y herramientas, cosas que pueden hacer todos los días. Por favor, háganlo. Y nos veremos la próxima semana en una clase más. Bye bye.